Welcome to the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Justin Charles and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast with me, Josh All, and Justin Charles. And today we're going to be talking about another quarterback got a huge contract, Trevor Lawrence. So we'll kind of break that down real quick. And then Justin threw this at me right before we started earlier today. And I think what we're going to do in honor of our it's our first annual rookie draft for the Dog Pack Dynasty League that we are part of with our Patreon members from the Brown Show. We're going to do a rookie Superflex mock draft, and it's actually very interesting now because neither Justin nor myself have a pick in the first round. Correct. Of that draft. Justin traded his probably a while ago. I don't know when you traded yours. I just traded mine yesterday.
I traded about 2 months ago. Okay. Got Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
I'm cool with sitting this one out.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll do that. We'll go through a rookie mock draft and definitely do the first round. I think maybe Justin will try to get through two if we can. We were going to do wide receiver values based on ADP today after we did running backs last week on that episode, but I think we'll kind of push that off to next week since we got our Dynasty rookie draft starting tomorrow. We'll go ahead and do our first ever mock draft on this show. Before we do, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, give us a 5-star review. That would really help out the show. Me and Justin did not plan, if you're watching on YouTube, to match our shirts. We just kind of did this. If you like cool Cleveland Brown shirts, we got them on. We just did we just recorded a Discord show with everybody from our Patreon, so that was pretty fun. But now we're switching gears into fantasy football, and let's see I don't think there's any other housekeeping stuff I want to talk about. I think we should just dive into the big contract that the Jaguars just gave to Trevor Lawrence. So he signed. They signed him to a 5-year, $275 million extension. Puts him at $55 million annual average salary, and I believe it had $200 million in guaranteed money. So Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, super duper awesome average quarterback, got paid like he's very good. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Trevor Lawrence for a little bit.
Man, Trevor Lawrence is kind of interesting to me, right? I think the problem with Trevor Lawrence is there's so much expectations coming out. Like he was so good in college. His pre-draft stock, like all you heard was like, oh, he's the next Luck. Like we got to take him, So for me, his numbers, when you look at his numbers aren't bad. It's just they're over 4,100 the last 2 years. His interceptions went up a little bit the past year, but also was pretty banged up. He was a guy that had pretty much played every game in his NFL career until this past season. It's kind of crazy seeing him being in the same range with like a Joe Burrow, and he's the tied for the top annual salary as far as quarterbacks. But he's paid. He did good. He did good for himself.
I've been posting some of this stuff on Twitter, and it was in relation to obviously things with the Browns. But I mean, it just goes to show that the quarterback market in the NFL it's going up. Obviously, the value of quarterbacks and the price you have to pay to keep a top tier guy is going up, and the production that top tier guy has to put out in order to achieve that high pay is going down. Because Trevor Lawrence, overall, he's got a 20-30 record. He's got a career 63.8% completion. He's got 6.7 yards per attempt for his career, 58 total touchdowns to 39 interceptions, so not mind-blowing. His quarterback rating for his career so far, which has been 3 seasons, is an 85. His numbers are very pedestrian. I've shared the graphic on Twitter about how the comparison to his career and Gardner Minshew's, and they're damn near identical.
It's crazy.
And I think we might have even talked about that on this show already, that here's this guy, number 1 overall pick. Like you said, the hype was through the roof, highly touted.
Yes.
Just got paid. He's tied for the highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now with Joe Burrow. Yep. And his numbers compare not to Joe Burrow, but to Gardner freaking Minshew.
Right. he's a guy going into the season. I thought like the Jacksonville maybe had to have like some serious conversations about whether you extend him. Now, obviously, like they believe that the talent's there, but last season was kind of rough. Last season, things really, really fell apart. I know just with the Browns game, I believe he threw 3 interceptions just in that game. As far as like in a fantasy outlook for him, like if you have Trevor Lawrence, I think you're okay. You know what I mean? You, especially now after this contract, like his value probably couldn't get any higher than right now. You know, you're locked in for 5 years, theoretically. They're paying you like a top tier quarterback, but I think there's serious question marks with Trevor Lawrence. That's fair.
So we're going to be doing dynasty stuff the rest of this show. So let's talk about that last. But as far as redraft for Trevor Lawrence, I guess I need to look at like where his redraft ADP and stuff is for that. But so let's see here. Quarterback looks like Trevor Lawrence is down here at QB 16, 103 overall. So trying to figure like when. I guess I don't really know what round that is, but anyway, so 103 overall, QB 16. Like he's going right behind Tua, Caleb, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, and he's going right in front of like Jaden Daniels, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. So his value in redraft is definitely down there, which I think it should be.
It's fair. I mean, give me Kirk Cousins over. Give me Kirk. If you get fantasy production like you have the last couple of years from Kirk Cousins, and give me Kirk Cousins at, what was that, 18?
Kirk Cousins at 18, yep.
Yeah, give me some Kirk Cousins at 18.
I would take the swing on Jaden Daniels this year at 17 over Trevor Lawrence at 16 for sure because of the rushing upside, the unknown. He could come out and produce like a top-tier quarterback. We don't know, but we already know. I mean, Trevor Lawrence he runs a little bit, not a lot, not like people were expecting him to. And sorry, I got something in my throat there. I don't know, man. Like the passing just isn't enough to be like a plug and play. He's my quarterback every week kind of guy in a redraft league. And, you know, last year I know there were a lot of touchdowns that were almost touchdowns, didn't get caught or whatever. So his stats could have been better, but still he doesn't throw touchdowns at a high rate or anything like that. So he's kind of like a late round QB strategy type guy. If you're going to stream the quarterback position, maybe throw him, maybe get him and like Deshaun Watson's down at 21. I think you could rotate between those two this year.
That's fair. Yeah.
One of them decides, hey, this is going to be more of a permanent thing. I mean, do you want Trevor Lawrence or you want like Derek Carr at 25, like rounds and rounds later?
Man,
I don't think there's that much.
I think I'm saying, I know. I think I'm still taking Trevor Lawrence. I think he'd be nice in like a second QB role. You know what I mean? Like in a super flex, if he's your OP spot, I don't think you're hurting. You know what I mean? Like now, if he's your QB, like he's your QB1, that might not be that successful a strategy.
No, it might not be at all. So, all right. So how about this? So I just said Trevor Lawrence or like, I think what was he like one whatever. He's in the 100, whatever. And then 50 picks later, you could get Derek Carr. So if you took Trevor Lawrence right now, you would have to decide between taking Trevor Lawrence or taking a guy like Xavier Worthy or Brock Bowers or Rome Odunze or TJ Hawkinson or Ladd McConkey, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Are you taking Trevor Lawrence over all those guys I just named?
If I don't have a second QB and it's super flex?
No. Yes. One quarterback.
Oh, you're just saying one QB? And you haven't taken a quarterback yet?
Right.
I don't know, man. I feel like even rolling Derek Carr out as your QB is a dicey strategy. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. But I don't think I would pass on. Like I'd rather wait and I'll just take Derek Carr later. I'll take Xavier Worthy or Rome or Hawkinson or McConkey or take a flyer on one of these skill guys here because the skill guys down the board when you're picking Derek Carr aren't going to be nearly this good.
I agree. I get that strategy. I am not on that strategy.
No, okay.
My value on QB and I think it's just from like a super flex man, like standpoint and stuff like that. I've just been burned so many times. I'm like, I want an elite quarterback. I want a top 5 guy. And, I'd be willing I'm real big on it. Try to get to one of the top three, whether it's Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and it was, Mahomes. I think his numbers last year, maybe he slips a little bit further down, but I mean, I want one of those guys, and then I'll figure out the rest. But for me, my value on quarterback is super, super high.
That's fair. I know. And I feel like quarterback value, even in the one quarterback, has shifted over the last couple of years just because the top guys are so top. Like they're so much better than the rest of the bunch that they are worth taking a swing on most of the time. But if you don't get them, like for me, if I don't get one of those top three guys, then I am late round QB. Like that I let my draft strategy I let the board dictate how I draft. I don't go in saying, I am getting a top guy no matter what. Well, if all three of those top guys go before I can take him, I better be able to change my mindset real quick. So it's just stay water, stay fluid, whatever happens during the draft, just roll with it. And like I said, if I don't get one of those top guys, then I'm looking at Kirk Cousins or one of these guys later. And I'm probably going to take like a Jaden Daniels with a high upside and maybe a Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, somebody I know that as long as they're on the field, they're going to produce. And then just mitigate my risk.
What about even like a guy for me, like Dak Prescott? I feel like Dak Prescott is always kind of slept on. And then, you get his numbers, regardless of what you want to say about the playoffs, his regular season numbers are fantastic, like league winning.
Dak is a great quarterback to target. Now he's going to be more of a he's not going to be a late round quarterback. Like if you want to punt the quarterback, like he's QB7 right now off the board. So he's going to be mid round. He's going right out. Now a guy, if you want like, in my opinion, elite upside, a guy who could finish QB 1, 2, 3, but you don't have to take him anywhere close to there would be Anthony Richardson. He's QB6. He's going at like pick 47, where Josh Allen, you got to take him at pick 17 right now. So
right.
That would be my swing in the middle rounds. Maybe like a Jordan Love. Honestly, a guy that I would like to maybe target in some single quarterback leagues this year, if I don't get those top guys, would be like Kyler Murray, quarterback 10.
I'm big on Kyler Murray for sure.
He could have a really good season. Brock Purdy was good last year for fantasy. But Trevor Lawrence, man. So mamas, don't let your kids grow up to be running backs. Make them be subpar, just average at best quarterbacks, and they gonna get paid. So. That's what we're learning right now.
Yes.
All right, cool. So do you want to talk about, let's do a little bit of rookie mock draft?
Okay. I'm very excited about that.
Okay. So I guess what we'll do, I'll let you go first. You can have the 101 and we'll just go back and forth and we'll just kind of go through maybe 2 rounds and see how we go. Okay, so
give me some ground rules. Yeah.
So it's going to be, basically we're just going to do what our league is like. It's going to be 12 team. So we'll do 12 picks in each round. It's going to be Superflex.
Okay.
No tight end premium. So just standard Superflex league. I think that's really about it. As far as that, for everybody to understand. So, all right. So now you've got 101. Who are you taking in this year's draft? This episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Let's all take a minute to wish happy birthday to the United States of America, and there's no better way to celebrate America's birthday than with the best meats available for your backyard cookouts this 4th of July season. Right now, you can save 50% off site-wide during the Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale. So break out the grills and get ready for the 4th of July celebrations with Omaha Steaks. Get the burgers, the chicken, the jumbo franks, the brats. And of course, get the steaks. Those things are incredible. They've got appetizers, meatballs, wings. They've got desserts. They've even got wine. They've got everything you guys need to celebrate America's birthday with your friends and your family. Go to omahasteaks.com/dogs and use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out, and you'll get an extra $30 off your order. So set off the fireworks in everybody's mouth with Omaha Steaks this 4th of July. Head to omahasteaks.com/dogs. Get 50% off site-wide during the 4th of July sale, and make sure you guys punch in that promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out to get an extra $30 off your order. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
If I'm picking at 101 this year, I'm going to take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, you just talked so much about how your value on quarterbacks. Look at you going back on it already.
Yeah. I guess just so for me, Caleb Williams, obviously, you could take at 101. And if you need a quarterback, a second quarterback, a third quarterback, completely makes sense to me. It's worth the risk. You only are going to take a shot at a quarterback, hopefully not very often in fantasy. So if you're at this position, you had a rough year, hopefully this is a rebound. I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. though. For me, like just elite upside, like you can get immediate production on your team. A guy that I don't think it'd be crazy if he was at least like a top 10 wide receiver this year as far as production, which would put him in, wide receiver 1 numbers. If you can just plug that into your roster, that's great. But that would be mine.
I think he's already being drafted as a wide receiver 1 in redraft leagues. Like the expectations are high. The dude is incredible. And, outside of like health, I don't see any way he fails in the NFL. He's coming in as a rookie with a great quarterback with no competition for targets. I mean, Trey McBride, but he's the tight end. At the wide receiver position, it is MHJ all day, and that is it. So I give you a little bit of crap there, but honestly, I would have gone Marvin Harrison as well at 1, just because I think especially if you've got the 101 in a dynasty league, you most likely have the 201.
Yep.
So I would be taking Marvin Harrison, and then if I want a quarterback or need one, Bo Nix or Michael Penix would be there at the 201. Yes. Might be a little bit early to take those guys in the second round, but if that's where your priority lies and you need to get a guy, take an upside swing on those guys, but lock in Marvin Harrison number 1. I don't think that's a bad strategy. So number 2 is easy for me. Then I guess I will just go ahead and scoop up Caleb Williams. Fell right into my lap. A Superflex league, like you said, I don't see any other skill positions. I like Malik Neighbors. I love his talent. I think he has elite upside. But at this position, I think that Caleb Williams is just too set up for success to fail. Yep. If he fails, it's going to be catastrophic. So it's a pretty sure thing. And again, he might not be an elite quarterback, a top 3, 4, 5 guy for your fantasy team, but I think he can be a top 10 guy. So I would take Caleb Williams here at 2.
Big thing is he's going to be a starter with an elite offense around him.
Right away, yes.
Immediate impact on your team.
Yep.
For me, I'll keep the quarterbacks going. I'm going Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Just for me, he's being, referenced as far as like a Lamar light. You have huge rushing upside. The offense in Washington, there's playmakers there. So not as great as the situation as far as like Chicago, but I don't think it's a huge gap as far as like the skill set from one team to the other.
All right. I think it's fair. I think he has got a great opportunity to be really good too. And again, Superflex League, that's really what you're asking for here. So if you wanted to go Malik Neighbors at 3 over Daniels, I could understand that.
Yes.
My hang up with Neighbors is the team. The team is just, the offense always is just disappointing. Daniel Jones is not that great of a quarterback. But that being said, I am going to take Malik Neighbors at 4 just because I think his talent is through the roof, man. I mean, I think that he's the 101 best wide receiver in pretty much every rookie class except for this one. And, because they got Marvin Harrison in this one. So I think Malik Neighbors has it. And I think the talent's going to overcome at some point. Might be a little disappointed in year 1. You might be really happy year 1. I don't know. But putting him on my fantasy team right now would make me feel pretty good.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. I guess for me, it depends on your situation, but I'm going to go Rome Odunze here.
Okay.
There's guys on the board right now as far as like Drake May, JJ McCarthy. For me, I'm putting in a playmaker. It might not pay off. The biggest concern, and I just took Rome Odunze in a draft this weekend. The biggest concern for me is maybe target share at the beginning. There's going to be a lot of miles to feed. But Keenan Allen, his contract isn't like, it's not like he's locked in for the next 4 years.
Just like a 1 year, isn't it?
Yep, just 1 year. And then there's I think he's going to get opportunities this year, but then obviously next year it's him and DJ Moore. If Keenan Allen doesn't stay, I like his upside. I think can't lose pick.
There's something to be said for the chemistry between a rookie quarterback and a rookie receiver coming in together. We've seen it plenty of times. There's tons of examples of how this works. And it's because these guys come in together and they go through all of their rookie mini camps and OTAs, and they're doing everything together before the rest of the team even gets with them. So by the time Caleb Williams is out there throwing to DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, he's already buddy-buddy with Rome Odunze. They've been hanging out. They've been, probably rooming together and doing whatever, during all this stuff. So they've got a good off-field chemistry, which, ask Matthew Stafford how all those breakfast mornings went with Cooper Kupp. So pretty damn good. So here we are. This is where I always get hung up in these rookie mocks and stuff, because at the 106 now, so 1 through 5, Marvin Harrison, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Rome Odunze. I think that's pretty chalk for your top 5. Not mix them up a little bit here and there, shake them out. But when I get to 6, I'm always like, okay, do I want to? Quarterback is so valuable in Superflex, and I would prioritize JJ McCarthy over Drake May just because of the situation. I think he's got a brilliant offensive head coach. He's got the best wide receiver in the NFL. He's got a great number 2 in Jordan Addison. TJ Hawkinson will be back. I think it's a good offense to be put into. And JJ McCarthy was pretty hyped up coming into this. Top 10 pick he ended up being. A lot of analysts were like, this guy's a lot better than what maybe the average fan is thinking. And, do you go Brock Bowers this early? Take that tight end swing? But I think for Superflex, pick 6, I would probably be going JJ and getting my Minnesota Vikings quarterback and just saying, all right, go out there and put up some fantasy numbers with, Justin Jefferson and the crew.
Yep. So I guess at 7, came down to 2 guys, but give me Drake May here. Okay. I feel like, especially where you're getting him at, I think is great value. This is a guy that could have been a 101, last year. But maybe not a great situation coming in right now. Probably going to be the backup for a little bit. Not a ton of weapons outside of, Demario Douglas. And I don't even know if you can really say he's a nice weapon for them, but that's not great, Yeah. But so for me, something that you can sit on, and it's going to take a couple years, but I think good value. Give me Drake May.
Yep. I like that pick. We move into the 8th pick, which I didn't even plan this out. That's the pick that I had in our dynasty draft that starts tomorrow, and I traded it because I've been going through scenarios and stuff and thinking, like, who do I really want at pick 8? Like, well, I could take Brock Bowers. I don't know if I necessarily love the situation, and seeing these first year tight ends, just, man, a lot of times they just don't hit right away, and I'm looking to try to win now. I could go Xavier Worthy. I think he's got some big upside, but it could also not work. I just don't feel as sure about it. Do I go Jonathan Brooks, and a running back this early, and coming off the ACL, he might not be impactful for a while this year? I don't really know what to do. I ended up trading my pick and next year's 2nd round pick, and I got Dalton Kincaid and James Cook, which those are the 2 positions that I was dying at. I don't really have any good running backs to depend on, and tight end I was just cycling through guys. So to get a guy with high upside like Kincaid, I just thought that was worth it. But if I had kept my pick at 8, honestly, I think I probably would have gone. But that was specific to my team. I'd probably go Xavier Worthy, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Swing for that big upside with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Yep. I guess then I would take Brock Bowers here.
So you're what I mean? 9, you're yep. Brock. Yep.
And I think it all just comes down to the situation for him. Yeah. Everybody was really excited to see where he went and, expected him to be like alpha tight end 1. You're going to Vegas where Michael Mayer, a guy that people liked a lot last year, went to. I still think that, if he can put it on the field, sky's the limit for him. But obviously he's probably going to be splitting some target share with Mayer for a little bit. But I'd be very okay taking Bowers here.
Yep, I would too. I definitely would too. And I think then at 10, I think I probably, man, there's just a lot of good wide receivers, but I'm going to go Jonathan Brooks because I think that there's really only a couple running backs to really talk about big time in this draft class. And I think the conversation starts with Brooks, and I would just want to make sure that I get him. So that's who I'm going at 10.
Okay. I guess then for me, you started talking about receivers. Give me Ladd McConkey.
Okay. Yep.
I think this is his name, and like what's going on right now in the news is kind of, I think it's pushing his draft stock up a little bit. He was a guy that was a little bit farther down, at least a month ago. But just from what you hear, it has the chance to be the Chargers #1 with Justin Herbert. That's a pretty good deal. And if you get that production on your fantasy team, especially at the end of the first round, a wide receiver, 1 or 2, give me that all day.
I totally agree with that. And I think he's going to be his top option. Easy. They already talked about, like you said, like he is, but speaking of a guy coming in to be another top option for another top quarterback, I'm going to go Keon Coleman here at 12 to round out the first round. I know there's some other wide receivers, and you could probably swing at a quarterback here if you wanted to, but I just think having Josh Allen's #1 receiver, whether Keon Coleman kind of develops into that go-to target #1 alpha dog receiver, or he's just kind of a steady Eddie, either way, I think he's in a great offense, in a great situation. He's got talent. I mean, there's no denying that he's got some serious talent, so I think he's worth the swing here. So that would be first round. Marvin Harrison goes 1, Caleb Williams 2, Jaden Daniels 3, Malik Neighbors 4, Rome Odunze 5, J.J. McCarthy 6, Drake May 7, Xavier Worthy at 8, Brock Bowers at 9, Jonathan Brooks at 10, Ladd McConkey 11, and Keon Coleman rounds it out at 12. Let's go one more round here because it looks like my phone camera is about to die soon. Always lovely. So let's break it up here. We'll go second round, pick 1, pick 13 really. So who do you got here? This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. We talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order, and that code can be used over and over, so you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.
Give me Bo Nix here.
Bo Nix, you are going to go quarterback.
Yep. As long as with the idea that, you're probably getting a starter here. If you're getting a guy that's not a starter, I think this one kind of stings a little bit. I mean, you're still getting good value. You would think projected starter at some point, if not week 1. Give me a quarterback. You're getting him in the second round. Not a great situation, but Sean Payton has been rumored to be a quarterback whisperer. I don't know if that's 100% accurate these days.
I mean, quarterback, first of all, Bo Nix was a first round quarterback, top 15 pick. And like you said, he's going to get the opportunity. And, you went, say this was your team, you theoretically went Marvin Harrison 1, then you came back, got Bo Nix. I mean, the quarterback in a Superflex league, especially a first-round guy like this, is going to hold their value. I mean, even Kenny Pickett held his value as a first-round quarterback. So you could watch this season, watch Bo Nix play, and say, damn, I don't see it. Like, I do not see this developing. I don't see this working. And there's still going to be people in your league that are like, I do. I like Bo Nix. I like the upside. I like the opportunity. And you can still get value for that guy
Yes.
But you just make sure you're paying attention. And who knows, like you said, you might come out and surprise some people. But pick 14, then I'll go Brian Thomas Jr. For the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that average quarterback I can't even get his name right, Trevor Lawrence.
There you go.
It could end up being his number one guy. I think it's probably going to be Christian Kirk, but I mean,
yes,
maybe it won't be. It will definitely not be Gabe Davis. So I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. He wasn't, his scouting profile and everything was just a little bit all over the place, but I think he's got a great opportunity there in Jacksonville.
Okay, well, I guess for me, if I'm going, this is kind of getting to a point where now we're getting to some dart throw, not even dart throws, but like some things have to happen for these guys to be kind of relevant year one. But give me Michael Penix Jr. here.
Okay.
A guy that you're pretty much, you're going to taxi for 2 years, maybe longer, but something that you're going to have to sit on. It's going to take a little bit, but if, obviously they thought highly of him, they drafted him at 8th overall. 2 years down the road, if Kirk Cousins is starting to come down to earth a little bit, you slide this guy in and you have a starter, probably for the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Yeah, no, I do not, I do not hate the Michael Penix pick one bit. So then at 16, I'm going to go Trey Benson.
Yep.
Because I think that you got 2 running backs who are really worth a whole, higher picks. Brooks is gone. Trey Benson, I think, is going to get a little bit of run behind James Conner this year. And when James Conner misses his, required, 4 games or whatever this year, Trey Benson will be probably in that RB1 territory for those weeks. And then I think he's the future of that backfield for Arizona. So I would take Trey Benson here.
Yep. Agreed. I guess for me, let me go Donnie Mitchell.
Okay.
I really, so the situation isn't great. There's players there. Obviously Michael Pittman Jr. He's the one, but there's an opportunity. I mean, he could beat out Josh Downs in a wide receiver 2 spot. Anthony Richardson, everybody's really high on him right now. If that all works out, we like Shane Steichen a lot as far as like what he is able to do offensively. To me, this just kind of makes sense. Might not be a wide receiver 1, you're like an alpha on your team, but like flex guy.
Yeah.
Give me him all day.
No, hey, that's a good pick. I like that. So that opens up for me to take the receiver that I was eyeing, and I'm going to take Ricky Pearsall at 18.
Okay.
I think that obviously the 49ers are a great system to be in for wide receivers. Sorry if you guys hear my dog squeaking his toy right next to me. This is apparently his playtime and where he wants to be right now. But I think that the 49ers are moving on from one of Ayuk or Debo next year for sure. Still possibly this summer. We don't know. Yeah. There's still a lot of stuff going on there. And there's been a lot of good buzz about Pearsall coming out of these camps. And I just think he's very talented. And I think he's in the right place with the right coach, the right quarterback. Give me some Ricky Pearsall.
Okay. For me, give me Corum here.
Blake Corum. Okay.
The situation kind of makes me a little nervous, especially like how the Rams used Kyron Williams last year. Like they workhorsed him, but also you could make that into an argument why you should take Blake Corum. Williams hasn't had like a healthy bill since he came in the league. He started off his rookie season on IR, a guy you had to sit on for a while if you did take him. And then they used him a lot last year. He was pretty much like a every down back every game. But he missed 4 games last year, even to me. And then starting camp now, not healthy with foot issues. If you're taking a guy right here, take a dart throw. You might have a running back 1 in a system where a guy last year was like a top 5 running back, if he would have stayed healthy easily.
I like that pick, man. And at this point in a rookie draft, you are taking dart throws. Like, you're not looking at your team saying, well, I got to get a running back here. I need a wide receiver. No, like at this point in the draft, you better take guys that have some upside if they hit. And I like the Blake Corum pick. For me, my next one at pick 20 is going to be Marshawn Lloyd because, from Green Bay, I know there were out of USC, there's a lot of scouts and analysts that had him as their running back 1 in talent overall in this draft. He ended up going a little bit later. He gets put in there behind Josh Jacobs. But the way, from what I've heard, what I understand, the way they structured Jacobs' contract is essentially they can get out after this year. It's kind of like a 1-year prove-it deal with an out after this. And, he kind of fell off a little bit last year. Don't know if that was due to him missing training camp and his holdout and all that stuff. But, why am I blanking on the coach's name there in Green Bay? LaFleur. Matt LaFleur. Yeah. He does not give all of his work to just one guy. I mean, even with Aaron Jones, he was still splitting with A.J. Dillon. So I think Marshawn Lloyd has a role this year, and it could, again, high upside. It could pan out to be a lot more than what you're expecting. So I'm taking him at 20.
Okay, give me Troy Franklin. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're taking Bo, and you're taking his boy.
Right. The same kind of situation with a lot of these guys. Kind of some guys in the way as far as getting to like a wide receiver 1 opportunity. But Courtland Sutton sitting out right now for Denver. He is not at minicamp. And then there's chemistry here between Troy Franklin and Bo Nix. He's kind of an interesting one because I see him going super late in drafts, and then I saw him go end of the first round over the weekend to a guy, and I was just like, I didn't even know how to feel about it. I mean, it could be a great pick, could be reaching a lot, but there's chemistry there between those two guys. I think there is an opportunity for that to be a nice snag in second.
Okay, yeah, and we're sitting here at pick 22. There's only 3 picks left in the second round, and I'm going to get a wide receiver who was drafted in the first round this late in the second. Oh man, I'm taking Xavier Legette.
Yes,
and he's coming down there to Carolina. They've got Dave Canales coming in there, hopefully revamping that offense. Bryce Young can, make a little bit of a turn. I mean, we saw what happened with Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer that first year, and then he definitely took a big step forward that second year. So hopefully the same thing can happen with Bryce Young. And to get Xavier Legette, they really don't have a whole lot by means of receiving talent down there. I mean, yes, they have Deontay Johnson. I think is going to be okay for them. I think Thielen will be okay in spurts, but outside of some of those guys, I think Legette has a good chance to come in and develop. I think we can kind of ship has sailed on Jonathan Mingo probably already, in my opinion.
It feels like that. Maybe it feels that way.
I think he could be a good steady, maybe wide receiver 3 or 4 for them, but I think Legette has a chance to be a good player for them.
So I came down to a debate on my last pick for 2 receivers, and they both are division rivals of the Browns, but I kind of decided to go with Jermaine Burton. Okay. Only, it's a dart throw, but man, you've got the quarterback and Joe Burrow. If he's healthy, he's a gunslinger. There's got to be opportunities. T. Higgins is probably out either this year or next year. So there's an opportunity to be the wide receiver 2 with Jamar Chase, a guy that's going to garner a lot of attention. For me, everything that I heard about Burton was he can make all the catches. He's athletic. He's explosive. Just, it was an attitude thing. There was things going on with him. But, if you're going to take a shot this late, why not?
Why not? I love that pick, and I thought you were going to take the other AFC North rival rookie wide receiver that I wanted. So now I get him here. I get Roman Wilson. Correct. I like Jermaine Burton too. I wouldn't be mad either way, but I think Roman Wilson has a great opportunity. Now, obviously, the Steelers offense projects to be a little more run heavy this year, but there's, as far as the wide receiver depth chart there, not the greatest. George Pickens at the top. After that, don't really know. There's not much there. So I think Roman Wilson could carve out a good role for himself in this offense. He's a guy coming out of college that I really liked. I was pretty high on him in the pre-draft process. I just, kind of like you said with Burton, guy who can he runs all the routes. He can make all the catches. We talked to Barry Shuck, Dogs by Nature writer, who was at the Senior Bowl, and he told me that, Roman Wilson was like the guy at the Senior Bowl. He stood out, all the drills. He was the one guys, the corners just couldn't cover. So I no problem rounding this thing out with Roman Wilson.
Yep. I'd say pretty solid draft.
Pretty solid draft. So, so that's round 2. We started off at pick 13, Bo Nix, and then we went Brian Thomas Jr., Michael Penix Jr., and then Trey Benson, Adonai Mitchell, Ricky Pearsall, Blake Corum, Marshawn Lloyd, Troy Franklin, Xavier Legette, Jermaine Burton, and Roman Wilson. So there we go. We did a 2-round rookie mock draft for you guys this week. Hopefully hopefully you guys, when do you do a lot of your dynasty rookie drafts? Because I know there are leagues that do rookie drafts immediately, like Sunday after the NFL draft, and then there's people that don't do them until, like, we have another league, we don't do it till right before the season starts. So
correct.
What do you see?
I'm more of a right before the season guy,
Get
obviously
as much info.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. You have to see how things shake out with training camp and stuff like that. Now, I just did one over the weekend. And then we have another one coming up this weekend. So obviously the place, where they're going, kind of where they could fill in. So there's obviously there's still going to be good guys available once training camp and stuff like that goes. But usually the week after the final preseason game, week before the regular season game, I do all my drafting. Yeah,
that's my preferred time to do it as well. And I mean, I think it makes your rookie drafts or your rookie draft picks have higher value if you do it right before the league or the season starts, because you have the most information. If you're sitting there with maybe like I was kind of at the 108 for this weekend, but maybe the 108 looks a little more valuable come September or late August, because you're like, well, I know just from the preseason games or just from the training camp buzz that, Xavier Worthy is cooking with Patrick Mahomes.
Jonathan Brooks is the running back, a legit running back number one in that system.
Right. Yeah. Lad McConkey's the only receiver to catch a pass the entire training camp. And, some of these guys can skyrocket up where if you're doing it earlier, you might be getting a better value. Drafting some of these guys a little later than they would eventually go. But yeah, that's just kind of our opinion on that too. So, but let us know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments. We would like some comments. We've gotten no comments yet on any of our videos. So if you guys are out there, hit us up with some stuff, man. No, hey, this is episode 4. We are rolling through this thing and we're having a lot of fun doing it. We're going to keep doing it. We'll see how the in-season stuff goes. Might get a little hairy with all the podcasting stuff we do, but I'm sure we can make it work. We'll figure it out.
Yes. So. Yeah.
But appreciate everybody tuning in and checking out another episode. And we will be back next week. At least the plan as of now is to do wide receiver values, but we might throw an audible and change it again and have some fun doing something else. So you never know what you're going to get with this show. And we kind of like keeping it spicy like that. So stay tuned for more. Again, like the video, subscribe on YouTube, drop us some 5-star reviews on your audio platforms, and tell your friends to listen to the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast. We really appreciate it. So until we see you guys in the next one, I still don't have a good sign off. I keep thinking we're doing the Brown Show, man, every single time. It's probably because we just got done doing it.
Peace.
So. Peace. See you guys in the next one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow the podcast on social media at the Dawgs Fantasy.